From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Melinda Akilami.
Hello and welcome. President Buhari restates resolve to ensure credible polls in Nigeria as he meets with INEC chairman and the Inspector General of Police on ways to boost security for future exercise. Residents hold vehicular movement in Yola as they troop out in protest against continued kidnapping in Adamawa State. Ahead of this year's Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, candidates and other Nigerians raise concern over registration requirements as they besiege the National Identity Management Commission in Lagos. And at least 50 people killed and over 200 injured in a stampede at the burial of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. Plus, business, sports, news from Abuja, the FCT, and later from our studios in London.
On business news, crude oil prices snap out of two-day gains as investors rethink Middle East supply disruptions following the killing of Qasem Soleimani by the U.S.
On sports news tonight, Senegal's Sadio Mane beats rivals Mo Salah and Riyad Mahrez to win CAF Player of the Year award.
And from Abuja, police arrest officer who allegedly shot two people in Bayelsa State. Commissioner of Police pledges appropriate punishment for the culprit.
The president seems to be matching words with action, especially regarding his promise to Nigerians on January the 1st, when he pledged to conduct free, fair, and credible polls come 2023. Today, he met with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and the Inspector General of Police, where he reiterated the need for them to put plans in motion to conduct violent-free elections. Our correspondent, Ibrahim Adra, has the rest of the story.
The country's chief electoral umpire and the Inspector General of Police, key players in Nigeria's electoral process. At this meeting in the State House, which held largely behind closed doors, President Buhari is clear on the kind of elections he desires for Nigeria. A statement by the president's spokesman quotes the president's charge to INEC. Those that you declare as winners must be candidates that the people have chosen. Democracy is about free will, and the will of the people must be allowed to prevail. Get your acts right and leave no room for underhand tricks or manipulation. To the police, he wants nothing short of a secured and unbiased process. He says, our elections must be done in a violence-free atmosphere. The process must be free, fair, decent, devoid of intimidation or malpractices. It is a duty of the police to accomplish that, and it is what I expect in the elections immediately ahead and going forward. This assurance is coming ahead of at least 28 elections to be conducted in January this year.
The Commission has already fixed the 25th of January, that is in the next 19 days, for the conduct of the court-ordered rerun elections. And we are ready for these elections. But in addition, we met with His Excellency Mr. President, who has reiterated his commitment to ensuring that the processes are free and fair and the environment secure.
The police on its part is already planning ahead.
The security strategy that we in place in previous elections have to be reviewed and have to be enhanced so as to have an election that violence will not be tolerated, value snatching will not be tolerated. Those that usually participate in such actions, like the politicians, the security agencies, and INEC officials, and any other group that partake in that, this time around, they will not be allowed to do that.
The 28 elections, which will take place in 11 states, are part of the 30 annulled by the courts. From the presidential villa, Ibrahim Adra, channels television news.
And while the president lays the foundation for credible future polls, the national leader of the ruling All Progressives Congress, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, believes that it's not yet time to start speaking on the president's successor in 2023. The former Lagos State governor says Nigerians should rather make nation building a priority by helping the president help the nation. The former Lagos State governor made those comments today while speaking to State House correspondents in Abuja, where he also alluded to the fact that the president had strongly opposed the third-term agenda of the former president Olusegun Obasanjo and would not be interested in towing that path, even if he was offered.
I was in the trench. I was in the struggle for democracy. I was in the trench and in opposition to a third-term agenda of a former leader of this country with Muhammadu Buhari, Mr. President. I know he will never. He has the courage and the character to refuse such a temptation, even if offered to him. I believe in him, and I believe Nigeria should, believe in him. But any lover of this country will not talk about the succession plan yet. That's the truth. Concentrate on working for the country, help the country, help the president to help the country. It's not anything more than that. We cannot, 360 365 times in a year work on politics. It is not possible. Anybody talking about that now, just, complete restlessness, and they are not focused on the agenda of the nation building and development.
From politics to security matters now, some residents of Jure community in Adamawa State blocked the only road leading to the northern part of the state capital, Yola, today, in protest against the alleged release of suspected kidnappers by members of the vigilante group and the police. The protesters disrupted the flow of traffic as they expressed fears that those released may return to hunt them. But the State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Adamu Madaki, says the story is not so.
The motorists making U-turns have a sense that something is brewing that will delay their travel plans. But for others without inclination, they are left with no choice but to endure a roadblock by angry residents who have a bone to pick with the police. Cementing their position with logs, the protesters display placards of disapproval against the crime that has left residents of Jire community in Adamawa State with sleepless nights: kidnapping. And they are bent on staying put, not minding attempts to convince them that all is well.
We ensure they are charged to court today, unfailingly.
But that is not the major reason for their outcry. The issue with the police is the question of trust over the handling of the arrest of some suspected kidnappers.
We arrested some suspects, but unfortunately, when they were taken to the police station, they were released. They said they got an order from the above. So what we want is, we want them to come back, then they face the law.
One of them categorically confessed that he's a kidnapper. He not mentioned his associate, which we followed and traced them. We caught some are at large. So very unfortunate to hear yesterday in the evening that an order from the above that the DPO should release the suspected kidnappers without any condition.
Was there such a thing as an order from above instructing the release of the suspects? The Commissioner of Police explained that the problem is due to a misunderstanding of intentions, which will be resolved.
I allowed the DPO to carry out preliminary investigation, because when DPOs are handling sensitive matters, you don't You don't hasten them to transfer to state CID. You allow them to interrogate the suspect at their own level. Maybe through interrogation, more revelation will come up. So when I've given the DPO enough time to carry the plan of the decision, yesterday evening, I instructed him to now transfer the suspect to state CID for continued investigation and then for the suspect to be charged to court.
Residents say they will hold the police to their word that the suspects will face the full wrath of the law, making this matter one that will be keenly watched to ensure that nothing is swept under the carpet.
A similar demand for better security is being made by residents of Castina as they want the state government and security agencies to do more than making promises but walk the talk. The residents say the security situation in the state has got worse since armed bandits were granted amnesty.
As far as security is concerned, 2019 wasn't a good one for residents of Katsina State. Killings, maiming, kidnapping, arson in many parts of the state. Batsari, Jibia, Damusa, Safana, Sabua, Kankara, Dandume, and Faskari are some of the local government areas worst hit. The solution to that was why the governor considered the introduction of a peace deal and amnesty initiative for armed bandits across the state. 5 months after that effort, residents lament there is not so much to show for it, as the bandits only changed their modus operandi.
The last December we witnessed, almost every night, one form of attack will be mounted on an individual or on a household, and people are taken away. They have to get money to now pay ransom before their relatives are also taken. This is in addition to lives that were killed by these people. Even at Saudi yesterday, an individual was killed.
While residents engage in individual effort, including praying, some list possible causes for the attacks.
Every day, we have fighter aircraft, including helicopters, start taking off from Katsina, about at least 3 to 4 every day. And thing is going higher and higher and higher and higher.
The ban on what do you call them, vigilante group, actually is an avenue for the bandits to actually enjoy themselves freely. Because if there is anybody who these people fear are the vigilante, they are now banned.
Police consider some of the reports as only a deliberate escalation of the actual situation.
The insinuation that were going around in the social media that about 40 passengers were kidnapped, it wasn't true. Yes. 8 of them were rescued. We are searching for 7 persons now. So the dialogue process is on, and it has not broken down.
The state government is promising a lasting solution to the crisis.
The nature of this problem is community-based. And any community-based problem, you need to understand the dynamics of the problem before you find a solution to it. And that's the next stage the government is going into. But definitely the dialogue, the amnesty is on course. And we are going to find lasting solution to the problem, and I'm giving you assurance sooner than people expect. This problem will be a history.
Residents insist they will take these promises with a pinch of salt until they translate to a safer Katsina state.
In part 2, after the break, Nigerian army vows to investigate claims of extortion by its troops following allegation by the governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum. Stay with us.